Hey guys, so today's video is going to be reacting to Reddit Battlestations episode 3. If you guys haven't checked out the first two videos, basically what I do is I just go in on Reddit on our Battlestations and I check out the setups on there. I usually check about 3 to 4 setups and then I just kind of give my thoughts and opinions on them. Eventually, I would like to do this to where I'm, giving you guys advice on your setups or reacting to your setups. Eventually, hopefully we get to that point where I can do so. But if you guys haven't seen these videos before, make sure you check them out. I'll link them in the description below and let's get right into it. Okay guys, so we're on our battle stations now on Reddit. So we're gonna just filter by the top posts of the day, so the last 24 hours. And these are gonna be the posts that have the most upvotes. So let's just take a look and see what they have here. So the first setup we're gonna be looking at is my final setup. It's been posted by Zonk, and it looks like a pretty clean setup right off the bat. Let's just take a closer look here. So overall, really nice. I think the setup itself is pretty clean, pretty minimalistic in terms of what's on the desk for the most part. Now, obviously with figurines and everything like that, it isn't minimalistic. The only thing I did really dislike about what they have set up here is this huge figurine on top of the computer. Not a big fan of that. That's just my opinion. I wish they would move it over here and maybe move these Warcraft boxes to the side, move them somewhere else and put that up top here. I understand that maybe this is his most prized figurine that he has, but personally, I think it would be better if it was moved onto the other side. And another complaint I do have actually about this desk setup, which is kind of weird. He does have these speakers kind of in a weird placement. You'd kind of want them to pointing at you on both ears, but if you're sitting at your monitors and you have something playing, both speakers are just going to be pointing almost just to your right ear for the most part. So I would just recommend maybe, moving those speakers, at least one underneath the monitor to where it's not completely blocked off, but just underneath it. Maybe he has issues with the cables. I'm not entirely sure, but overall, I think that the cable management on this setup is really nice. You can kind of see the cables here, but maybe they're kind of tight. I understand that some cables are kind of tough to manage that way, but overall, I think the clean aesthetic they have on the desk is pretty nice. I'm not a big fan of the color either. The color's kind of weird. I'm not a huge fan of just red setups in general. I think it looks kind of tacky, but overall, I think the setup looks nice. Maybe it could just be the wallpaper they have on here, because you can tell by down here it's wallpaper with how wrinkled it is. Maybe they just didn't feel like painting it, but I would say if you're gonna be doing that, maybe pick a different color. Maybe go with a more warm color, a little lighter, or maybe closer to white, or just RGB it out. Maybe. I'm not a big fan of this like pinkish red they have going on, but overall, I think the setup's really nice. I can understand why it has a ton of upvotes. It's really simplistic. It's a little different than what you normally see on here. You don't see nanoleafs everywhere and everything like that. So I think overall, I think it's really nice. They have nice little figurines over here, some Dragon Ball Z, some Mario, some Zelda. They're clearly a big fan of Nintendo games, and I don't know exactly what all of these figurines are down here. Maybe they could have to do with Warcraft. I'm not sure. World of Warcraft. So, but overall, kind of nice. And then I hope this is not their chair that they sit on. They should get a real chair if this is what they're using. I'm not sure if it's just like an extra stool they have over here, but if that's the actual chair they use, trust me, for your back's sake, get a real chair, an ergo chair. Even a gaming chair would be better than that. So just recommend getting a chair. And the one thing I really love about this setup, and I said it before, is the cable management. You literally can't see any cables down here. So they did obviously a really good job of routing the cables behind the desk. You can kind of see these there. So maybe push the PC just a hair closer. That way the cables are hiding behind the monitor. It kind of gives this like third monitor look almost. And maybe add some lighting into the PC case. But overall, nice setup. I really do like it a lot. Okay guys, so we're gonna look at the second setup here. This one's been posted by Sono. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right either. So the title says new home, new setup. Any recommendations on what to add to desk will be appreciated. Okay, so taking a look here, overall the setup's nice. It's really clean, minimalistic. They're asking what they could be added to the desk. Now, I'm kind of like a big fan of like whatever is most prized to you in terms of your collection. If you do collect stuff, maybe whatever is most prized is adding that to your desk. Now, I don't know if they collect anything. It looks like they may be into music, maybe something along the musical route they can add there. But I would also say maybe getting a desk mat, and then, they could just add plants, honestly. Like with the plants behind it looks really nice. Maybe add one on the desk here. It looks like they have a candle or something up here. I'm not entirely sure, but overall it looks pretty nice. Nice little single monitor mount here. This is a desk lamp and it's huge. I don't think I've ever seen one this big that kind of comes out this high from the monitor. It's kind of weird. Most monitor lights you see kind of just sit right on top like a webcam would. And it looks like they have a Keychron keyboard here and an MX Master mouse. Again, I would just think, add like a figurine or whatever you want. Plants would probably be enough. And then my other complaint here with this setup is just moving this PC over here and then maybe getting like an Alex drawer. That way you have some extra storage, You have your PC up off the floor. It's not as big of a deal since it's not on carpet, but I think overall it would look better if they put it here. And I think they just need to add a little bit of color. So not everyone's in RGB. I'm not suggesting RGB, but just something kind of give a little more color to the space, because it's kind of just empty on this back wall. I don't know how far out this back wall goes. Looks like it might be a hallway. I don't know if this is a door. It's kind of weird being a black door. It's kind of hard to tell if the doorknob's just blocked by the chair here. Overall, I think the setup looks pretty clean. I really like the cable management. You know, they just have this one cable sleeve here. You know, I wish they would have maybe routed it this way, just kind of under the desk and to the right. I think it would have looked a little better, but you know, overall, I think they did a good job. Kind of blends in, so it's hard to notice it, except for, you know, when it goes against the plant. But yeah, I think just a little more style, like a desk mat, and then maybe a plant on the desk would look really nice. And then I think they should just add some pictures over here, It'll just kind of give a little more life. It looks a little bland, but overall, I mean, super clean and minimalistic. I know a lot of people like this kind of look. Personally, you've seen in my office tours, I prefer having a lot more stuff. I'm not huge with having a ton of stuff on the desk, but overall, I think they need to add a little bit more in this setup. Overall, I think they did a really good job. Just a super clean setup and looks simple and nice. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one here. This one's been posted by CarbonGo. You know, it says here, my B&W workspace, friggin' love it. So I'm assuming that means black and white. You know, they're just simple black and white, you know, technically not black and white because I have a gray desk, but let's take a closer look here. Looking at this setup, definitely a little bit more personality. It's not exactly my thing with how they have it set up, but I think overall it looks nice. One thing I would recommend is getting a boom arm. You know, they can maybe mount something kind of off the back of the monitor. I can't tell if he has a monitor mount or what exactly is there, but you know, if you have a monitor mount, say you mounted this monitor, you get to get a boom arm for your mic and kind of have it hang over the monitor. I mean, this is a condenser mic, so it's going to pick up a lot more than what a dynamic mic like mine would do. So, you know, overall, I think it looks pretty nice. Looks like he does some gaming. I'm not sure what's in the PC, but overall it's a small ITX form factor case. And then he has a MacBook Pro over here, as well as an Xbox. I think that's a Series S. I can't keep track of them. Under here, you can see cable management's done really well. Overall, I think it looks pretty clean. I'm assuming this is like one of those old iHome type things where maybe this is a charging station and maybe this is speaker as well. I'm not 100% sure. If you know, leave it in the comments below, correct me. Then he has his Apple Watch here. I'm not sure exactly if he just goes simultaneously between both computers. If he has like 3 different HDMI cables or just one display port and then 2 HDMI cables going back here. I'm not exactly sure how that works with this, but overall it looks nice. And then he also has headphones right here. I don't see any speakers unless, again, this is a speaker, but I'm not entirely sure. So what looks like it's plugged in right here is the charging cable for the phone, and looks like he has AirPods right behind the phone. So that's kind of interesting. I think he should add something underneath here to kind of fill in the space and kind of hide that cable a little bit. I think they'll just look a little cleaner. And it looks like he's part of the no mouse pad gang, which is, you know, I'm a big mouse pad gang guy. Like, I buy a ton of mouse pads. It's one of my favorite things to buy in terms of keyboard accessories. So I think it would benefit from having one here, but you know, I know it's not everyone's preference. And then one recommendation is get rid of this gaming chair and get an ergo chair. I think it would just look a lot cleaner. Again, you know, I made the switch not too long ago, and I'm so happy I made the switch. You know, I switched back in November, so I think most people should make the change if they can. But overall, I think the setup looks pretty clean. I think, again, maybe some art on the wall, or you know, just a little more personality added. I know they have this, looks like a little Lego set here, but other than that, you know, there's not much personality going on here. So those are my recommendations. But overall, I think the setup looks really clean, really good cable management. You can barely see any cables at all, except for this one under the table or under the riser. So, you know, I think it looks pretty nice overall, but again, it just needs a little more personality in my opinion. All right, guys, so we're jumping into the next one here. This is Hank Irresponsible. It says OC, my first real battle station with a tiny Vader. So it looks like they did a little collage here. So let's take a closer look. So it's a little tougher to see because they did a little collage, but we can try to zoom in a little bit. So let's take a look at the top here. Looks like they have a nice mouse and keyboard combination here going. I'm not sure what mouse and keyboard that is. And then looks like they have a little notepad, and they have a nice little cable setup going through here. That way the cables are kind of coming together. I think overall, I don't mind cables coming from mouse and keyboards on desk. It would look a lot better if it's like a coiled cable or, you know, a braided cable, which looks like this is braided. So that looks not too bad. And then looks like the mouse actually matches the keyboard pretty nicely. So I do like that. Taking a look at the PC, I'm not sure what specs are in here, but it looks like a pretty clean PC build. You know, they have custom cables going here, and then they have this custom cable, but it looks like a nice little MATX build here. And then cacti back here. So it adds a nice little personality, some tissues. I don't know what the tissues are for. I'm just kidding, but let's take a closer look at one of these other areas. They had the Lego bonsai tree. So I do have this set, and actually we bought a second one because we want to have one upstairs in our living room. And I really love this Lego set. It's just such a nice looking Lego set in my opinion. And then on the left side here, from what we couldn't see before, have a plant here. And then they also have a picture with some headphones and a controller. So clearly they do some gaming on this setup as well as maybe some productivity. And so it looks like they may do some art, but overall it looks really nice. I think the pictures they took are actually really nice and tasteful. Obviously we can't see what's underneath. Looks like there could be some cabling here. So let's take a closer look at one of these. So these are not much different than what the pictures were above. I think overall the setup looks nicer. I wish we can see what's under the desk so we can see if there's good cable management. Hard to tell from these pictures. I don't think their cable management is probably that great because just how they have the cables hanging under here and just kind of coming down. Personally, I think everyone should mount their monitors if they can. I don't know if this desk possibly can. I can't tell exactly by the way the desk is. It looks like it might be a custom made desk. So I would assume they would be able to put a monitor mount there. You know, if they were to mount the monitors, it'd have an easier time actually routing the cables down below. But they definitely need to maybe get the cables cleaned up a little bit. I know, again, it's not for everyone. Everyone's kind of lazy and they don't want to always do cables, but I just think it'll add a little, you know, nicer aesthetic to the setup. And then here's a little tiny Vader they were talking about, which is nice. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so it's nice to see other people represent Star Wars. But yeah, I think overall, pretty clean setup. I wish we could see a little bit more than just kind of the close-up on the desk. I wish we can kind of have a little more zoomed out picture to see what's going on under the desk, just see how the cables are. And, you know, it looks like they have some pictures here. So I'm not the big fan of just slapping like Polaroid pictures on the wall. I think it looks a little weird and it's kind of in a weird place, but to each their own for the most part. You know, I would never do it, but I know most people would never have RGB in their room like I do. So, you know, it's all personal preference at the end of the day. But overall, I think this is a pretty clean looking setup. I like the natural light that comes in for it. So yeah, I think they did a pretty good job here for their first setup. All right, guys, so that's going to bring it for today's video. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you like and subscribe. You know, I do want to do this eventually where I'm, you know, reviewing you guys setups. I know I mention every time that I make these videos, but I do want to get to that point where I'm not reviewing them on Reddit anymore, but I'm reviewing yours. So, you know, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's listed in the description below as well. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you did like this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.